So we're going to cover our War World Battle Circuit game with AgentSeto from round 1 of event 7, I think it was. So this is my Nandi against AgentSeto's Walsh. We start with a 2. We're going to pick up the scrap here, and then we get a tactical maneuver. So we do take the cunning commander there, and we draw for 2 reasons. The first reason is that we want to try and grab a blue so that we can get colony seed ship to hand. The other one is that if we don't get a blue, we've got a chance of getting a yellow, and then we can hit Seto where it hurts on the first turn to try and prevent him from being able to grab certainly Incinerator, but also then what pops up, which is Frontier Station. So we fail to get either. Sad times. We still have enough to buy colony seed ship, so we do buy that. But we don't get to stop him from buying Frontier Station straight to play. So then he's going to get rid of the Incinerator because this format is honey buns, so W-EHUN with Command X. So it's quite filled with a lot of trade missions, a lot of ways of getting trade, and Nandi's really good at getting hold of bombs. So AgentSeto is going to spend this game trying to get rid of bombs off the row and increase his base advantage while scrapping out, while we struggle to try and combat that. So our next hand is fairly plain fare for Nandi on the first turn. So we're going to top the cargo pod because our line of thinking is if he misses his row control, allying his green, that's going to give us the opportunity to top Levi and get Leviathan into the rotation as fast as possible, which is what we need. Unfortunately for us, Seto not only picks up a Hartman, but also here manages to scrap out Leviathan. So that's really bad news. Not what we want to see, and very nicely done. So we're going to grab Aging Battleship to top. We're going to then cycle into it so that we can get rid of his Frontier Station, which has to go. It can't stay there, and keep a crewing advantage, especially if he's able to slip another base in behind it. That would be bad. So Seto here is going to pick up a storage silo, and he flips us an opportunity at a Hartman, which is really good. And as you can see, this row is, apart from the Hartman, is not wonderful because Nandi, I mean, certainly from Nandi's perspective, we start with very little damage, so we want to be picking that up because we want to be getting rid of his bases as he's putting them into play. And we also want to be scrapping out, which Hartman helps us to do here, so that we can see our damage or our good cards more frequently. One of Nandi's problems is bloat. So you really want to avoid that where you can. Now, Seto here going to pick up a central station, which is great for his base plan. Flips a Federation shipyard. Now that's one thing that you can do against Walsh and leave yourself in a pickle is not challenge for bases. So you do have to try and fight Walsh for bases, but you've got to make sure you pick up quote unquote the good ones and not the bad ones. Walsh has a bit more leeway there because of the differential on his butt, that he can afford to pick up those bases that maybe don't feel as exciting because they come with an extra soak, which makes them worth looking at certainly more than once. So he's going to get storage silo here. He's going to scrap out the blue. He's going to get a trade mission. He's going to pick up that green and then a Lancer to top and take the Hagen to add a bit of authority to his deck. Get a scrapper. Galactic Summit pops up and then a Supernova, damage for everyone, and scraps that stagnant row, and we get a break here. So there are 2 cards here that we really, really want. We've got a Peacekeeper there, and we've got a Moonworm there. We would like both of those very much. So what we're going to do is we're going to play to purchase that Peacekeeper, taking advantage of our discount, get that to top, then we're going to draw into it, using our yellows. and we're going to cycle away the starter that gives us health, which would be nice, but at the same time we also want to make sure we're scrapping, and we don't want to get rid of repair bot that gives us 2 trade, because we're going to try, if we can, to get a Moonworm. So we're going to Federation Shipyard and Peacekeeper, we're going to draw into another trade, then we're going to draw 2 with the Edging Battleship, which is a bit risky, but the payoff feels worthwhile. Now we get enough to actually not only buy Moonworm, but buy Moonworm at top because of the Federation Shipyard, and here we get a Super Flare. So we draw a card, happens to be Moonworm, great, lots of damage, and we can clear away those bases. And we've been a bit fortunate here, but you do need a little bit of luck sometimes. And there we go, we've cleared away the bases, we've got 2 very good cards into our deck, and we see one of them immediately. So Seto here, he's going to get that cycle, he's going to buy some bacon. Bacon at 3 but is pretty good. And it actually gives us a bit of a problem here, because really all we can do, again, interested in taking Hagen away from him, plus we really need that health, that authority. We can only get rid of one thing, and it's not Frontier Station. So here, Seto going all in on that second Central Station, getting a Hive Lord. There is the potential here for this base wall to become absolutely monstrous, because if he can get those central stations down and start really drawing cards and getting authority, we're going to be into a lot of trouble. Picking up lots of heroes here from the row, gets rid of our capital ship, another tactical maneuver, and a Quasar. Lots of cards getting drawn. This is going to rack up, and another damage hero to be a lot of damage, scrapping his Hive Lord and revealing an Eddy, which obviously he can't leave on the row, because our deck is now dangerously poised to be able to grab it, plus we're drawing a lot of cards. So here we've bought the base to top it, to try and really thin down and give us a bit more soak, because we are in a little bit of risk of dying. The warp jump does us absolutely no good, and we've also tried to throttle his ability to put down those base walls by taking as much as we can on the discard. It's only 2, but we've got down some defense. We're back up to 31. It is against 60. So Seto definitely in the driving seat here. What we really need to be doing is scrapping out, hence the Convoy Bot as well as the Oracle, and getting down to those good cards so that it's Moonworm and Peacekeeper. So this is not an amazing hand. We're just going to play out our discard, scrap, buy a Solar Skiff for the draw. We get a Bombardment. We take away Ravager because we do not want Seto to have that. And we're into a very blue hand with Stealth Tower. Meanwhile, he's forced to discard a little bit, gets down a Bacon and some damage. Powerful backing gives him some allies. Across the board gets a bit more damage. Another Warp Jump and powerful backing. And this is going to give him a cycle into the next deck with even more damage. So we're down at 15 against 48. Not great, but we've got a good blue hand coming, so we're going to get rid of that starter. Then we're going to Warp Jump, which means we can pretty much draw all of those things by Moonworming into Peacekeeper and so on. And there's only Bacon to copy, so we copy it and we get rid of that. And then we start to see a bit more. So this might be like the game turning here, so that we can get back into it, because Seto's deck is still quite big. He's bought a lot of small bases, which, because we've been able to scrap down and we've got pretty good cards, it's still providing with a lot of soak. And here the Mech Cruiser was key, because we've managed to get the Mech Cruiser to top, and by using the ability, the ally ability to get rid of his Bacon, we've actually just got enough between that and the hero to sneak in lethal. And that was a really close game. And if it hadn't been for Moonworm and Peacekeeper flipping on the same turn, and us being able to buy them on the same turn, I think there's probably no way we win that. Ian was in control, getting a base wall going, and it was really only through and controlling the row as well very well, making sure that Nandi didn't have any toys to play with. And it was only through a bit of good fortune of getting those 2 bombs on the row that we managed to be able to put ourselves in a position where we had enough damage on a consistent basis to combat that ever-growing base wall. So that's one of the dangers of Walsh, certainly, always. And this, I think, is the third first round AgentSeto and I have played together with this Nandi Walsh matchup, and the fourth Nandi Walsh I think we've had throughout the entirety of the 7 tournaments. So we're familiar opponents by now. It's always a good game. So good game, Ian. Thank you for the game. And this one I think we played quite well and we got a little lucky. The next one may not be so fortunate, but we'll see that one as it comes up.